Hello, we're going to do a demonstration of the web portal backend for SiteCapture. So we have a sample account here with Dividend. As you can see, all the projects are listed here. We've got David Gates, got your status here, priority, due date, assign, and the template. From the previous demonstrations, there's actually different templates. You can create as many as you want. For each functional task, we generally are looking to just use one. So for example, like a site assessment, you'd have one site assessment form, maybe one for a site completion form. Open one case up here. Now inside a case, it's going to be the same as the app where you can make real-time changes. You don't need to save anything like that. It automatically saves. So I can go in, make these changes here. A lot of folks will have their field folks actually do the initial site capture assessment, and then we'll go in and just clean these things up. Sometimes it's not as easy to, maybe there's incomplete information. See, this is the exact same as completing this on the mobile app. Now, same as photos, so if I have a photo here, I can drag and drop multiple photos and it'll show up just right here. The other thing is when you've got someone out in the field and collecting this information from the web portal, this is real time. So if the site assessor was collecting information at David Gates, it does take a couple minutes, 1 to 2 minutes for the data to sync up, but this is real time, so photos that they're taking will show up right here listed as photos here. So another, just a point of clarity, if the phone that's taking the photos doesn't have strong connection, it'll basically just wait until it can sync up and then the photos will sync. So in some cases, if you're out of cell phone range or something like that, then in that case you'll have to wait for the phone to sync up. So these are all the sections here. Yeah, so pretty simple information, right? And all that's real time, no need to save or anything like that. Now one important thing here is the assign to. If you don't do the assign to, then it won't show up for that user to see. Now if the user creates the case themselves out in the field, it will always be assigned to them for them to view, but it won't technically be officially assigned to them. So you always want to make sure that information is correct. Then you can go in here and complete the status, change priority. A lot of folks don't use the priority and just leave as none. Due date. A lot of folks will use this as scheduled date, which is what we generally use it as. You can also upload files. So if I wanted to upload, whatever, it may be a PDF or something like that, maybe before the site assessment takes place, I can do that. Some folks like to upload a PDF of the layout of the initial layout of the solar system, so you can see what that looks like compared to what's actually on site. Maybe you want code references, maybe you have, whatever it is, it supports multiple file types. Now right here, if I select PDF, I'm actually going to generate the report. And this would be a report with all the photos. So if I want to save this, I can just save it down. Now I've got the PDF saved. Now if I change just one thing on here, it would immediately update. So if I change the last name and reran the report, it would show the revised name there in the report. The other thing that's really great to use is this download images. So it's going to download those into a zip folder. And now you can see all the photos. You can also, let's see, select here and archive. Archive basically means delete. It never is permanently deleted. Really no reason to do that unless there's clutter in, like for example this, a test case. So I want to archive that. So to create a new project, just select a new project, and you can select the form, so site assessment form, create. We put in the information as you'd like to see it. Address, etc. Who you want to assign to. Status, let's say it's assigned now. And say we have it scheduled, so I could have a schedule for that date. And the field person would go in, fill all this information out. Maybe they change it to complete when they're done, which will signal you to go back to it. Pretty simple. Now let me go into the templates just quickly. Now this is only for admin settings, but just show how easy this is. So new section, if I actually let's do a test one. So I want a new section over here. We got a new section, and a new question within the section. So the field name and description, generally I use these as the same. Now I pick the field type, so you can have like a yes, no, which would provide the default value yes, no. Text field, which would allow any text. Integer, which would only allow numbers, decimals. Selection, which is great. Say I want the value only to be a 1. You can do kind of however you want. If you want the value to actually be choice, the name. Oops. So you can do a dollar amount. Image, which would make the only purpose of the question to be an image. An agreement. This is great for I will be safe today. All right, so when in the app, it'll prompt you to the user to agree to this. You could do system was installed. You know, whatever you may want to do. Maybe the homeowner, something you want the homeowner to do, something just as a confirmation. Lots of possibilities there. So date, and this will always show up as a little calendar invite. Calendar icon. Barcode. So this is for scanning barcodes. So you'll want to probably go ahead and select all of these just in case. Really a great way to get like serial numbers off equipment. It depends. Sometimes like the labels will be like a highly reflective label, so it can be challenging to get these, but we've seen these be pretty successful. Signature, which would give a signature pad for the user just to sign with his or her finger, and then long text for like a more of a summary. Validation type. So what's required for this question? So I could say at least one photo. So I could say an integer, and the question is the size of the main service breaker. And I'm going to require at least one photo all the time. So what that's going to do in the app is have a small image camera icon just to the right of the question, and it's going to require the user to take a photo. So I want the user to record the breaker size of the main service panel, but I also want to take a picture of that just as validation. Now I can say, okay, this is required, so that way for the report to be complete, it's always going to be required. Also will show up as orange in that case for the user to see that it's an orange, meaning it's not complete yet. Once it is complete, it goes to gray. I can do admin only. This is in the case that, let's say you have 100 questions in your site assessment and you have someone that's checking on the back end and doing some additional information afterwards. So you'd have questions in the template that only the admin would see after the site assessment takes place. And you can also do comments aloud. Now, a comment will normally be in addition to the, well, will always be the in addition to this information here. So if I had a text field here, you really don't want to comment aloud. A comment would then show up on the photo, but this is more for if you wanted additional text around, let's just say you had the question as an image, so you could do a comment there. So you also have some conditionality, so I could say only display when another question value is 0, something like that. So you could say, are microinverters used? And then have a series of questions that you would create that would be only there when that question was selected yes. I'm going to save. And if I want to create maybe a bunch of these exact same questions, which if you're creating an inspection form, pretty common, so you would just copy and paste and then edit as necessary. So you use that button right there to edit, and you can go in and edit whatever you're looking for. So again, only the admin has the capability to change the templates. One thing that's important to know is that this won't change old templates. It'll only change newly created templates. So if I created a new case right now, it would use whatever newest version of the template that was available. Now if I go into my templates also, see only 3 of these are enabled, so the other ones are not available to review, to use. So to change that, it's pretty simple. You actually just go up here to the template and I'll enable it. Some additional options here are the different statuses, so you can add different statuses, all customizable. Also the display line, so when you're looking at the cases, you notice it had the homeowner name and address and whatnot, so you'd actually put in whatever information you want to show on those various lines. And then the media field, so right now you can see that it just has that camera icon. So like say you want a photo of the front of the house, or if you want like something else as the photo, I normally use that. It works very well. You can change the name here too if you'd like, and save. And I'm actually going to go in and unenable that real quick. So that's the demonstration. If you ever have any questions, feel free to let us know. Thank you.